Hello, everyone, and welcome to our SimpleQI training session for today. I would now like to introduce our presenter for this afternoon, Michael Iantoska, who is a part of the SimpleQI team. Michael, you are free to begin.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So today I'm going to run you through the basics of using SimpleQI as a team member. I'll start out by showing you the registration screen and then orient you to the team homepage, showing you the different elements you have access to, how to add new team members, adding resources, doing data entry for the measures, as well as showing you some of the reports and how the discussion groups work. So let's start with the registration screen. If you haven't registered yet, you'll be receiving an email with an invite to join the project. And in that email, there's a link that will send you directly to this screen. That link will also auto-populate the email address that the person was trying to assign.
Hang on a second, I'll walk into her office. Yep.
To assign you a role. And then all you have to do is fill out these few fields, make sure that you're not a robot, just to agree to the terms and privacy policy. Click register. You'll automatically be sent into the project and have access to your team. All right. And once you're assigned to a team, you'll automatically be sent to your team homepage. There's also a project homepage where the project staff spends a lot of time, has a lot of the same information, but your page itself has a combination of team information. So you can see in the green sections, that's all team specific information. And then the blue sections are the sections that have the project level information. So that way you can see pretty much everything you need from this one page. You can navigate around to other teams to see the work that they're doing. Obviously, once the data is being entered and you have some progress, it'll become more interesting to take a look at those. You can also see documents that they're sharing as well. All right, so starting in the upper left-hand corner of the team homepage, we have the team aim, which it says default. So basically what that means is that this aim has been set up at the project level and you haven't edited it. If you wanted to customize it in any way, you can come into the aim actions, which is the three little dots here, and click customize. Whether you change the aim itself or just add some additional notes in the details area, then you're free to customize it that way. So just cancel that. Below that is a list of the newest team resources. There are none at this point, but it would show the top 5 newest team resources that have been added. So you could see something similar with the project resources on the right-hand side. These have been added 13 days ago is the most recent one, and then it goes back in terms of the older ones. And if you know that it's been recently uploaded, but you don't see it in the top 5, you can just say show more, and what it'll do is load the next 5 newest, and you can keep doing that over and over again instead of having to go and explore through the resources section. But if you did want to view all of the resources, either for the team or the project, I'll just go ahead and click that. This lists the resources, and you can see that there's the ability to have folders in here as well. And you can add folders in your area and add unlimited levels of folders to help you organize your documents and resources. So I'll go back. And then let's see. It's also showing the most recent team discussions, which there aren't any at this point. And you can get access to your measures from here as well. So for the purposes of the demonstration, what I want to show you is there's a demo project, so then when we start entering information, that I'm not going to pollute the real project with that. So I'm going to quickly switch over to the demo project, which is right here, Improving Access at Specialty Medical Practices. And I'll go to one of the team home pages. And the first thing I want to show you how to do is add people to your team. So once you're added to your team as the key contact or the team administrator, you'll have access to add people to your team. So you can see this team has 4 people on it. If you wanted to add a new person, you just click Assign Role. And all you have to do is enter their email address. And I'll just enter one that I know that doesn't exist. So sample@sample.com. And I will select the role I want to assign them. So team administrators and key contacts are sort of the super users of the team, so they could do everything. Team contributors have a little bit less permission, so they can still do data entry, they can add documents and resources, they can do status reports and things like that. If you wanted to invite somebody in just to take a look at things, so someone who's not involved in the project, you could assign them the team guest and team viewer. The only thing they have the ability to edit and contribute content to is the discussion groups. Okay, so I'll say let's add them as a team contributor. Say this is the person who might be doing data entry, for instance. We'll click add. And it's going to come up and say that this person is not registered with SimpleQI. You can go ahead and invite them to the project. So this is exactly how you got invited to it as well. So what it does is it adds them to the invitation list over here, and it sent them an email. If at some point later they say they didn't get the email, you can come back in here and just say resend invitation email, which will send that email back to that person. If this is a mistake in terms of maybe the email address was wrong, or you just know that they're not going to come in and register, you can actually delete that invitation right there. So pretty simple. All right, so that's how you add team members. One other thing you can do here is actually take a look at somebody's profile. So you can see what role they have assigned. You can see their email address. You can also remove a role assignment from in here. So if you wanted to take Arnold's team administrator role away, I could just come in and then click delete and delete that one role. Okay. All right, so let me go on to the next thing, which is showing you how to add resources. So resources are either documents or links. So if you have a link to something that you don't want to upload, or you don't have access to download it and re-upload it, you could just link directly to it. And those show up as the little box with the arrow. The actual documents will show up as things that look like documents here. And as I had said before, you have various folders you can add to help organize your information. So you can add individual files by clicking on Add File, which will open up the file picker. You can add links. So this is just really give it a title and enter the URL. And if you wanted to add a folder, you just name the folder, click Add, and it adds up. So any action you take here, any action you take over here will add it to the currently selected section. So if I wanted to add something to meeting minutes, I would navigate to meeting minutes and then add it there. So I'll go back to the top. The other thing, when you're first setting up your team, you may have a bunch of documents you want to upload, or maybe there's some information before the learning session you want to upload. Instead of picking each file individually, what you can do, I will show you that you can drag and drop many files at once. So what I'll do is I'll say I want the PDSA template, the patient interview template, and maybe a presentation as well. I can drag that over and just drop it on that zone, and it uploads them like that. If you want to delete a document, just click delete, and then it goes away. So pretty straightforward. So that's how we add resources. Now, in terms of entering data, what you can do, there's a couple ways you can get to your measures. So I'll go back to the team home. And over on the right-hand side here, there's a drop-down list of all the measures for your team. And this will let you get into the data entry screen directly from here, so you don't have to navigate to the measures section. If you wanted to look at your measures in terms of the list, you could see on the left, these are your project measures. And then on the right, if you've created any custom measures, those will appear there. And you can add a custom measure by clicking that link there. So I'll go back to the team home just to show you going from the drop-down list. It sends you directly into the measure. And this will show any data that you already have in a run chart. And if you wanted to edit any of this data, you could just quickly edit it right in the box. And then as soon as you move away from it, it recalculates the value. You can also add annotations to a point. If you have an annotation on that point, it changes to a diamond, just to indicate that it's something different. Let me get rid of some of these annotations. There's quite a few in here. Okay. If I wanted to add a new data point, I would just click the green button, and it gives me a blank spot for the next time period. If I wanted to add multiple, I could just keep clicking it and quickly add multiple data points to this measure. You may notice over here there's something called the analysis overlay. And if there's any run chart signals that have been triggered, there'll be a green circle with a number in it. And you can expand that and see that a trend was detected within this first period of time. And this is something you'll probably learn later in the project if you're not familiar with run charts. As data gets entered, once you reach 10 data points, certain rules are checked. And really the run charts are to help detect non-random variation. So it's actually trying to detect real improvement in the data in real variation as opposed to just random variation. So I'll just minimize that. If you wanted to get an image of this chart, I can come over to the Actions button and say Export Chart. And this displays the chart preview with everything turned on. So it has the goal, it has the annotations displayed, and it has the run chart signals displayed. I can also shut any of those off. So if I just want a simple one, I can do that. If these aren't positioned exactly right, you can just move them around. And once you have them in the place that you'd like to have them, you can click Export Chart. It downloads a nice PNG image, which you can then put in PowerPoint or Word or email or wherever you want to do with it. Okay, so it's good for presentations or storyboards. So I'll go ahead and close that. One thing you may notice is the video camera icon here. It's also shown in multiple places throughout the application. This lets you watch a short video on this specific screen. So this is a 1-minute video of how to do exactly what I just did. You can also get a list of all of the videos by clicking on the question mark up here. And then there's probably about 10 videos in here of showing how to do certain tasks. Okay. If you wanted to export this data and do something with it in Excel, you could say download data. So from the Actions menu again, download data, creates a CSV file, which Excel knows how to open. And it has all your data in here. And then you can create a chart in Excel if you'd like. Just close that. Okay. You can switch between measures here, so you don't have to go back to the measures screen. You can just flip between them, take a look at them, enter your data, and so forth. If you wanted to get more details about the measure, you don't have to go to the measures screen. You can actually just hover over this blue information icon, which gives you all the information about the measure. Okay. Let's see. So once the data has been entered, you can go and take a look at your reports. If you want to look at more than one measure at a time, you can click on the report section and then go into the team measures. And this will list all of the measures that you've entered data for on your team. And it does show the run chart signals. It shows all the medians. It also shows the annotations for those. You can just hover over those. If you wanted to get access to the full data entry screen directly from here, you can just click on this little chart icon that appears when you hover over a particular measure. This sends you directly into here so you can make some edits if you'd like. like that. Go back to the report. I can also download all of my data. So this will extract all of the measure data for all the measures on your team. And you can also print the report from here. Okay. Back to the reports. We can also look at the aggregate measures. So if you wanted to look at a project measure across the entire project to see how the whole project's doing, you can take a look at that. So there's a lot of data in here. You really probably just want to focus on the period of time when there was 5 teams entering data, for instance. And you can filter those out. Let me just collapse that. So you can filter out certain time periods. So I only want September 2017. Actually, I only want, what is it? February or January, sorry, January 2018. And I want to go through September 2018. And it filters it down just to this time period. You can also eliminate certain teams by just selecting them, and they get pulled out of the analysis. Okay, go back to the reports. The small multiples is probably more interesting for the individual teams, which gives you a similar view with the aggregate chart at the top and then individual charts for each team. So I'll go ahead and filter that data out. I can quickly filter these. So now we're just looking at January through September, and it shows each individual team's data for that time period on the same scale. So that way you can quickly compare yourself to others, see how you're doing, see if there's any that are performing a lot better. You can go in and take a look at maybe some of the things that they're doing. And on the right-hand side, we have status reports, which I don't think you're going to be filling out. So is that correct, Jake? The status reports?
At this time, I'm not sure, but we will follow up with everybody if they will be doing status reports.
Okay, yep. That might be for a later session. And then if you're running PDSAs, you can actually get PDSA activity data here as well, but that will be covered in a later session.
Right, both of those, it's Michael, both of those will be done in a later session.
Okay, great. So I'll quickly go back to the team home. So in terms of discussions, so there's a couple places you can start discussions. If you wanted to have a discussion within your own team, or you wanted to ask a question of another team, you can go into their team discussions and either add a comment or reply to one of the discussions in here. So I just clicked on this, wondering if anyone has had any issues this week testing the new ideas. And then there's 8 replies to this. I can add my own, my comment. And it just goes as a threaded conversation. There's also project level discussions. So there's no recent ones, but I can go and look at all of them. And this is a way that you could actually post a question to everybody on the project, and everyone will get a notification of the initial question, and then people can reply to that. And then anyone who gets involved in that conversation will continue to get updated with notifications. So that's a really good way of just putting a question out to everyone. Okay. Let's see. I'm not sure if there's anything else that I haven't covered. I don't know if there's any questions. I'll go back to your actual project homepage or your team homepage. And I think I said that you could switch between your teams. So the team that you're a member of will appear at the top and will have a star next to it. And that will be the default one that you go into. But then you can also switch between the various teams if you wanted to take a look at their information as well. Or if you wanted to ask them a question, for instance. Okay. So I don't know if there's any questions, but that's the extent of the sort of formal demonstration. And if you wanted me to dig into anything in more detail, I would be glad to go over that.
I just unmuted everyone, so if anybody has any questions, feel free to share. Going once, twice. So,
Hello.
Oh, here we go.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, this is Delara Moazami from Capital Health.
Hello.
So I have a question for Jake. So I emailed my data, the baseline data, and I'm assuming I have to enter that to this platform. Am I correct?
So for baseline, I don't believe that you will need to. It will be for cycle 1 data, which will be due on October 10th. And I'll
Like the hub team, Jake, the hub team will enter this first one because we weren't sure if we would get these tutorials in time. So we will enter that data in for you.
Okay.
But moving forward, you will be entering the information yourselves.
Okay, so we don't have to enter anything until our first meeting, which is October 10, I believe. 10 and 11.
Well, and you're right in the next cycle there. So those first calls will revolve around baseline data information, and,
okay.
And then it will be after that the first cycle will begin. So that's when you'll.
And I can, if I don't have any of my member in this group, I have to go ahead and enter their email so I can invite them. Because I invited them, like I send them calendar invite, but not, I don't have them on this group. I have to invite them so they can log in and be in that meeting, right?
Correct, and you want to do that through the SimpleIQ platform. And then that will bring them right to your page. And so in this would provide to everyone, is offered to everyone on the call today. Is that if you find yourselves kind of tripping a little bit or uncertain about it, call us. We can be out there to help you, or we can take you through. Jake's really good at taking through practices through on the phone, similarly to the way that Michael is doing it. So all of those options are available to everybody who's on the call today.
But for a future, like moving forward, because so far we don't have them on the email and all this, I just invited them for the meeting. Do I need to put their name on these team members?
So if they're going to be on there, yes, you're going to want to add them as team members.
Okay.
And you do that, if you recall that slide that Michael showed, where it's off on the top right-hand side there that says add a member.
Okay.
And so your role will be to discern. I always forget the other one, Michael. So it's the administrator and what's the one that's like the fourth one down?
So there's team administrator and key contact. So those are sort of the super users. And then the team contributor is somebody you want to be able to come in and add documents, maybe add data, things like that.
Okay.
Somebody you just want to come in and view, it would be a guest or a viewer.
Okay. So I have to choose the role and then add their name. Okay. Yep. And moving forward, like when we get email or information from you guys, they will be included on that. Or I have to email you separately to add them?
Well, once they're all in, so for the next meeting or two, you'll want to remind them, but once they're in the platform, once they've been invited in, then all of that information will be sent from the platform. So you'll all be done, you'll all receive that. But for the next one, you may want to, just to make sure that we're not letting anything fall through the cracks, you may want to reach out to them.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, go over here. I'm just. Good. A second here.
Okay, any other questions? Well, Mr. Iantoska, once again, you've done a stellar job. We appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
And I'm sure we'll be talking again.
Yes, we'll talk to you soon, and good luck everyone on the project. And I'm sure we'll talk
Thank you.
in the future.
Thank you everyone for attending today.